I can stumble over all my words.
All right, we're like 10. Hold on. It's setting up the meeting for YouTube Live. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're live.
And we are live with Score Trade Live. I'm Jared, aka Coach, and I got my boy Jake Osman here, and we are here to kick off the inaugural episode of Score Trade Live. Jake, I'm super excited about getting this thing started. We got the Golden State Warriors versus the New Orleans Pelicans.
Should be a great game, right? I mean, it's Marvel night on the ESPN broadcast, but anytime you get Steph Curry, you get Zion, you get them going at it. I mean, that's what the NBA needs, right? Two superstars, one that's been doing it for years, that's won 2 MVPs, and is having another MVP caliber year, and a guy in Zion Williamson that has taken a massive step forward, as you would expect, Jared, in his second year. It's a great matchup. You know, both teams battling it out for the play-in scenarios to try and make the playoffs here at the end. So it's a big game really for both sides.
This is a very big game. I mean, so New Orleans, in my opinion, is one of the most inconsistent teams in the league. They can put together a good 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden they just wash it all away in the fourth. But they, like you said, they need these games better, more than anybody. They're 3 games behind the Warriors for that number 10 spot. So I definitely expect a lot of action, especially in this first quarter. And that is the beautiful part about the Score Trade app is we are just talking about the first quarter for this very first tournament here. But we have a bunch of props here for the stars like Stephen Curry, Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Andrew Wiggins, all those guys. So what you do is you go on the app and you decide if you like the point total for that particular player. And if you like it, hey, take the over, or you can take the under if you want to fade that particular person. And whoever comes out with the most points at the end of everything will win the tokens. And guys, you definitely want all the tokens, guys, because then you can cash in all those tokens for great prizes. And we got a pretty cool prize that was just dropped into the store just today. It's that copy of Madden 2022 for either Xbox or PS5.
No doubt. And, I guess, for those new to Score Trade, the way to describe it, Jared, is, it's basically, the sports world meets like the stock market all kind of into one, combining the passion for, daily fantasy with the stock market craze right now. And, will Steph Curry score 8+ points by the end of quarter one? I mean, you could take out your phone, go on Score Trade, 100% easy to use. It's free. And you start messing around with it, right? I mean, if Steph Curry gets off to a quick start, maybe you buy a lot of Curry stocks, and then all of a sudden, wait, he's cooling off. Maybe you sell your shares at the right time and try and maximize profits. So it's daily fantasy with like a business twist in it, which makes it really fun if you kind of combine the best of both worlds there.
Yeah. One of the things I like to do when, you watch, say Curry goes out the 4-minute mark and he hasn't hit his prop yet, sell, buy the opposite side because he probably won't come back. So, for the rest of the quarter. But one of the things that you brought up, this is 100% free. And that is the most beautiful part about this new and emerging type of interactive kind of game. You can sit there and watch the national broadcast and you can actually win prizes on your phone while you're watching TV anyway. So it's an awesome way to play during commercials. You can buy and trade and try to predict what you want to do here. So all in all, incredible app, incredible, just user experience.
Definitely. And that's really the big thing, right? I mean, you're watching sports, you want to have fun. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're signing on to play Score Trade, you're supposed to have a good experience. And that's what we're going to do every night when we're playing whatever the big game is. Tonight, obviously, it's Steph and Zion. Who knows what it is, each and every night in the NBA. And, the biggest thing is you got to, as you said, Jared, you got to be watching, and then you got to kind of think like a coach. Like, all right, if Steph Curry's going out at the 4-minute mark of the first quarter and he's only at 3 points, I'm selling as quick as I possibly can because I don't think there's enough time for him to come back in and then hit enough shots to eclipse his total. So you got to be on your toes. I mean, will Zion score 7+ by the end of quarter one? Look, I don't know about you, Jared. National matchups, prime time, I'm going to take the superstars to come out and start fast. So I'm not fading Curry. I'm not fading Zion. I think they play when the spotlight's on them. Nationally televised game, ESPN. That's where I would go early on. What about you?
Yeah, well, if you scroll down a little bit on the app, you can see Lonzo Ball there. We only need to get 4 points for Lonzo. Now that dude loves to jack up 3-pointers, especially when you don't want him to jack up 3-pointers. So all he needs is to hit one and maybe get fouled and we're there. So I think there's a little bit of value there for Lonzo Ball. Now, as far as Andrew Wiggins goes, I'm not even sure if he's going to play. I know he was questionable. He's a game time decision. So even if he does play, he might be a little hobbled. So I'd probably go the under in that situation.
Yeah, let's get an update here on Andrew Wiggins and see if he's actually going to be going out there and playing. I'll tell you what, maybe an easy win if you paid Andrew Wiggins point total of 5+ at the end of quarter one if he's not out there. So
absolutely,
we'll check on that real quick. I mean, you kind of look at this matchup though, and it's so important for the Pelicans to put it together here because they made a coaching change last year. And that was a big reason of bringing in Stan Van Gundy was he was supposed to be the guy that could get this team to kind of gel and all come together. And, you have 2 all NBA players in Zion and Brandon Ingram. I mean, anything short, I think, of at least getting one of the top 8 seeds in the conference for the Pelicans would be a big disappointment given the fact that they made the change in the first place at coach to basically take a big step forward in this season.
Sure. And what it's really come down to with the Pelicans is they are really good on offense. They are awful on defense. I think they rank number 25th in the league in total team defense. And that's really been the MO. They haven't been able to shut anybody down in the fourth quarter. And when you're going up against a good offensive style team like the Golden State Warriors, that obviously we know all about Stephen Curry and those guys love to jack up threes. And when they're on fire, it's going to be hard to beat them. But like you mentioned, this is a huge game for playoff implications.
Yeah, I mean, Warriors right now are a 500 team, and the Pelicans are 29-35. But don't tell LeBron this, but because of the play-in tournament, they actually both have a legitimate chance here of being a playoff team. And hopefully there's some juice here to the final couple weeks of the season, right? I mean, we've had so many stars injured or just sitting out of games. I mean, the idea of still having a chance to get a Steph Curry or a Zion Williamson into the playoffs is ultimately really good for the league.
Oh, for sure. So as far as the actual play-in games, I do think it's pretty interesting here. Even like you saw how the Raptors, they were losing all the games down the stretch, and they're right there tied for the 10th seed in the East. So that's pretty intriguing when it really comes down to the NBA. And I think this play-in scenario is here to stay, to be honest with you. And, I think I like it. It gives – if we didn't have the play-in scenario, this game wouldn't matter at all, in my opinion. So, that I'm happy that it's here.
I'm with you, Jared. I mean, ultimately, you look at the Eastern Conference, right? I mean, the Washington Wizards are 29-35, but they're 10th seed. They're still alive. And you know what? They haven't had a great year because they got out to just a dreadful start. Mm-hmm. But you're telling me you wouldn't want to watch, Russell Westbrook and and Bradley Beal in a playoff series together? Like, those are 2 of the best players in the league right there. That even despite the flaws they've had as a team, who wants to play the Wizards in a playoff series? But those 2 guys have the chance to go off on any given night.
Yeah, they are by far the dark horse in the Eastern Conference. And I'm telling you, whoever faces the Wizards are in for a fight. That team is on a roll. I think they won 8 of their last 10 games. They've been playing great. They play the Pacers tonight. So they need that win because they're tied I think they're tied or they might be a couple games up on the 10 seed there. But overall, I think the Wizards are a hot ticket right now.
I mean, you think about it from a score trade perspective too. I mean, can we get Russell Westbrook triple-double props right now? I mean, the way that he's playing, I mean, it's kind of like just accepted he's going to average a triple-double. But, I looked at the stat line earlier preparing for this broadcast here, Jared. I mean, Russell Westbrook's averaging like 22, 11, and 11. Like, he might end up being the NBA's assist leader. And it's just like, that's just Russ being Russ. It's just crazy how, the athleticism that he brings night in, night out. Yes, it hasn't always translated to deep playoff runs, but as far as just being a talent, I mean, he's gotten better and better since he's been in Washington this year.
Oh, well, it's really the same thing we've seen when he was with OKC. Now, Russell Westbrook loves to stat pad. I mean, he's looking at the box scores here, and he knows when he needs rebounds, he knows when he needs assists, and overall, I really like and really enjoy watching him play. But Russell knows what he's doing. He knows that he's trying to average triple doubles, and that's how he won the MVP that one year in OKC. Is he? And I argue, you could arguably say that James Harden should have won the MVP that year, in my opinion. But you know what? They gave it to Russell Westbrook.
No doubt. By the way, injury update, I'll tell you, Andrew Wiggins is playing tonight. So
Okay,
if
he's
you
in.
want to hammer the Andrew Wiggins props here on Score Trade, Wiggins score 5+ points by the end of quarter one, you can certainly play that. And here's the thing with Wiggins, right? I mean, he's dealing with a sore knee. He hasn't missed a game yet this season. So in an era where all these guys miss time, Andrew Wiggins is like the one constant that he's actually going out there and he's actually contributing and playing some games here. So it's good for the Warriors to get him in the lineup for sure.
Who would have thought Andrew Wiggins and Cal Ripken are made of the same cloth?
Yep.
All right. So we also have Brandon Ingram. Let's not forget about this guy. This guy's a walking bucket, to be honest. Anytime he has the ball, he's always, looking to score, always looking to drive to the basket. It kind of reminds me of a poor man's Kevin Durant in a sense. He's not as good as KD, but he always is looking to score there. And I think at 6, I don't know, but right now on the Score Trade, they have it priced at 50-50. So they're saying it could go either way here. And I don't know. I probably would lean towards the over. What's your thoughts?
I would probably go over too. I feel like if you're gonna play Ingram, I'd hate to be the guy rooting for the under, right? I mean, I'm all about points being scored here, so I'm kind of with you there. It's tough. Ingram to me is like a streaky player, right? There are nights where you're not surprised if he's going for 40+ points, and then there are other nights where the guy can't hit a shot, and you're like, just get out of the way and let Zion do everything. And that's honestly why. I can't sit here and act like I've watched every Pelicans game this year, but it just seems like there's too many games where it's just like, how are they not winning more with the talent they have on the floor?
I've been saying that every single day. Anytime I'm looking over, the betting lines, I'm like, how are the Pelicans going to lose this game? And then you know what? They figure it out. They are very good at underachieving. And it really comes down to the coach, like you mentioned. I think they got to move on from Van Gundy. I think that, I don't know, they're just not clicking there. They have so much talent. Even with Steven Adams now, unfortunately, Steven Adams is out of the game because they're actually one of the better rebounding teams, the Pelicans are. But no Steven Adams, that's definitely going to hurt, grabbing some of these extra chance possessions here for the Pelicans. But, overall, I think Brandon Ingram, he averages 24 points a game. So getting it 6, I think is a pretty solid pick here. So, and you're right. Who wants to bet the under? That's like going to the craps table and betting the don't pass line. I mean, everybody hates that guy.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. I mean, look, I'll say this. If you are that guy and you're using Score Trade, as long as you win, I mean, that's fine. At the end of the day, we're all trying to win some tokens here and, live happily ever after. So I get it if you're going to play the under, but I always quote what Barstool Big Cat would say, right? Life's too short to bet the under, so I'll apply that to points, right? Life's too short to root for a bunch of bricks in the first quarter of an NBA game. Let's hope we get some scoring early on in this one.
Yeah. Those are words of wisdom there from Big Cat. So, and then the next game after this one is the Lakers versus the Nuggets without Thanos in the lineup. No LeBron James.
I'm fading the Lakers until they get back on track here. I just feel like the Nuggets treat the regular season like it matters. The Lakers haven't, and I understand part of that's due to injury, but Denver doesn't want to hear the Lakers make excuses. Like Denver just lost their best player or their second best player in Jamal Murray, and they've won 9 of 10 or something like that since that injury. So nobody wants to hear the Lakers complain. I think Denver would love to stick it to the Lakers, a team that ended their season, obviously, in the bubble in the conference championship game, less than a year ago. So, I'm all over Denver in this one, and I probably will play every Jokic prop imaginable on Score Trade later tonight.
Yeah, that's probably the MVP of the league. When you say Jokic, and who else could possibly be MVP here? Would it be Joel Embiid? I don't think so. I think it's got to be Jokic, especially with no Murray.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, Jared. I think by default, it's either Jokic or Embiid just based on the record of both the teams they play on. But the tiebreaker to me would be Jokic has played the whole year. Embiid missed time with injury. And obviously Jokic's team continues to win with Jamal Murray getting hurt. So, I mean, Jokic is gunning for that award. To win the MVP in the NBA, you got to have your best year and the narrative's got to fit. And like the narrative for
Sure.
Jokic is he's the best player on a team that then lost their second best player and they haven't skipped a beat. So I think he's got all the storylines. I mean, Curry could get some MVP votes, but he's not going to win. His team's 500. Julius Randle on the Knicks has certainly been, not an MVP per se, but the most improved player in the league. He'll get some votes, but I mean, realistically, I think it comes down to Jokic or Embiid for that award when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and I don't think it can be. I mean, if he doesn't miss another game this year, he's already missed 1/4 of the season. So that in itself, in my opinion, tells me that it's got to be, Jokic in this spot, and especially with no Jamal Murray. And then not only no Murray, they've also lost Barton, and they also lost the other guy, Monte Morris. So they're out there with two backup guards, and I agree. I do think they take care of the Lakers. I think they're going to crush the Lakers, to be honest with you.
I'd be worried about the Lakers because, just like we talk about, if the Nets get healthy, this and that. I mean, at some point you do got to get healthy. And the fact that LeBron came back last night and then leaves the game against Toronto with like soreness in his foot, LeBron, as great as he is, and he's Thanos, as you talked about, Jared. I I at some point, I don't think he's ever going to have like this decline where he's not LeBron anymore, but, maybe the decline in LeBron is that he just gets injured more and that he's no longer going to be, indestructible where he's never going to miss time. I mean, LeBron said, a couple days ago that he doesn't think he'll ever be back at 100% ever again. And like LeBron's very calculated when he says this stuff. I feel like he's kind of putting that out there as like the cover if like the Lakers don't get fully healthy and they get bounced early in the playoffs. I mean, you look at the possible playoff matchups, we could get Lakers Clippers in the first round. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think Clippers will probably take care of business there. Now, overall, who do you think wins the West this year?
I think there's like 4 teams that could come out of the West. I can't discredit LeBron if he's healthy and AD get back there.
Sure.
I don't want to discredit the Suns and the year they're having, although I wouldn't pick them, but I think they're going to be in the mix. Utah's good. Don't want to discredit them. The Clippers are good. Eventually you'd think they'd break through, but you got to kind of believe it, believe it when I see it, so to speak. And then obviously you look at a team like Denver. I thought when Murray went down, they didn't have a shot, but they played better, if that's hard to believe, as we just spoke about, since he went down. So I think you could probably argue 5 teams have a legitimate chance to come out of the West as we sit here now, early May. I don't know who's coming out. I guess whichever team stays the healthiest and gets hot at the right time has a legitimate, answer to that question.
Yeah, because, Kawhi Leonard, he's hurt. Everybody, I guess, is dealing with injuries, right? Except for the Phoenix Suns. They're the only team that really seems to be full healthy. I know Jay Crowder twisted his ankle in that on the East Coast road trip. However, obviously Donovan Mitchell's hurt. So it seems like everybody's dealing with something right now. If I had to pick one, I probably would take, I have to say it. I like the Suns a lot, man. That team plays defense. That team plays offense. I know they have Booker and Chris Paul. They don't really have another star. And I know when it comes to the playoffs, it really comes down to star power for most of the time. But I think the Suns might have a legit shot here.
You know who deserves MVP votes that we didn't mention? Chris Paul. I mean, I'm a Knicks fan, Jared, so I'm watching Chris Paul end the Knicks 9-game winning streak last week. I mean, he looked like, he was, 2009 Chris Paul over again. I mean, he dominated the last 5 minutes of that game, hit a bunch of tough shots with Knicks defenders in his face. He's been doing that all year. I mean, we talked about Coach of the Year earlier, or, we talked about, Randall winning MVP, and I mentioned Thibodeau's development. I mean, you look at the job that Monty Williams has done with that team, he deserves a ton of credit, but also the fact that Chris Paul is basically like a coach on the floor for that team. Like Chris Paul, you could argue, should maybe get Coach of the Year votes, given how well he's, played in his one season so far at his age for the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, he looks just as young as, he looks great. I love watching Chris Paul. I loved him when he was here with the Rockets, but he looks like a young guy out there. He's like he's having fun. I love how he distributes the ball. I love how he, basically gets everybody in the right position. He'll, like you said, he coaches people. Maybe he should be the coach of the year, but he seems to got a Devin Booker in the right spot at the right time all the time. So yeah, the Suns are definitely a force to be reckoned with in the West, just as much as the Utah Jazz are. I mean, Utah Jazz are, killers once they get Donovan Mitchell back. That team doesn't seem to miss 3-point shots to anybody. And then you got Rudy Gobert. When he doesn't, get into his own head. I mean, he's a great rim protector.
He is. And, remember all the chemistry issues where people were worried about with Gobert after the whole COVID situation last year that really, got the sports world, I guess you could call it. He was, he was the first sports COVID case that on record that everyone could go nuts over. And there were some thoughts on how that would impact, the chemistry of that team going forward. But you got to give credit to Utah. I mean, they're 46-18. They're, they've been one of the best teams in the sport the entire year. The question you have for Utah is kind of similar to what you asked, though, and what you mentioned with the Suns. You have Donovan Mitchell. He's obviously a great player. But then you kind of wonder, all right, Rudy Gobert is a star, but is he a star that translates to winning a bunch of playoff series? The guy is a dominant defender. He's not a great offensive player, but that's not what he's asked to do on that team. Mike Conley's good. They have, Derek Favors comes off the bench for them, I think. Joe Ingles is still doing it after all these years. He looks like he's way older than he actually is. They have a bunch of good guys. Do they have enough star power, though, to go deep into the Western Conference? That to me is Utah's one of those teams where it's nice regular season team, but can you prove it in a best-of-7 playoff series where you could go toe-to-toe with some of the games elite?
I agree completely here. All right, let's circle back here to Score Trade, guys. This is Score Trade Live. We're so excited to bring you guys some of the best, most entertaining content. And as we got the game started here, I just wanted to quickly say, hey, make sure you get your I guess I don't want to call them bets, but get your trades in, for your favorite player. If you think Curry is going to go over or under the total. And also, guys, remember, there's a prize drop today. We have the Madden 2022 copy for either Xbox or PS5. So you definitely want to collect as many tokens as you can. All it looks like 50,000 tokens. And I think that's what it's going to take to cash in on that one. And Steph Curry just hit a 2-pointer. So that price popped. It went all the way up to 72, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, get your Steph bets in now, right? I mean, he's going to come out firing. And then obviously, Zion off to a nice start as well, getting to the free throw line. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what you should root for early on of these games, right? A lot of fouls. So you get the best players at the line shooting too, and then it doesn't take any time off the clock. So, one thing we should look at going forward here, guys, you should focus in on who are the guys that go out there and get to the free throw line the most, because being able to score when the clock is not ticking is a great trait you're looking for if you're trying to find the right players to invest in on Score Trade.
Absolutely. And, Zion knocks down one foul shot there. Score, with Golden State has the ball, and Curry, he's going to the basket and already went ahead and just passed it up. But yeah, Curry already had a 3-point shot there. He just missed. So, hey, it looks like Curry's in the mix very early in this game. So I'm definitely pro Curry in this Score Trade battle right here.
Yeah, and the Warriors coming out firing 8-1, and you already have Stan Van Gundy calling timeout. So the Warriors came out, nationally televised game. We talked about it. They need the game. They're a 500 team, and boom, here they come. Here comes Steph Curry and the Warriors.
Yep. That's kind of what we expected. I mean, we were talking about how inconsistent this Pelicans team is, and it's starting off just that way. They don't play defense. Like I mentioned before, they're like 25th ranked defense in the league. And if Curry and the Golden State Warriors can, take it to them and hit their shots, this game might be a blowout early.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing with the Pelicans, right? I mean, they could score a lot, but if you can't defend, I mean, it's the same old with this team. And you look at the Pelicans this year, games where they don't score, they get blown out because they just don't defend. So their defense can never win them a game, and they should be a lot better defensively. I feel like they lack. I don't know if it's Van Gundy. I don't know if it's not the right fit with the players. I can remember, go back, Jared, a couple weeks ago, the Pelicans blew a game to the Knicks that kind of really got the Knicks rolling in the middle of their winning streak, where Van Gundy afterwards criticized Lonzo Ball and said a high school team would have executed better at the end there. He didn't close out with the Knicks down by 3. He didn't close out defending, Reggie Bullock from shooting a wide open 3. Don't come off your man there. Play the corner, and he left them wide open, and Van Gundy was livid. So, they got issues.
And then all of a sudden they go to overtime, and then the Knicks just take care of business. So I remember that game. I think it was a Sunday morning, and it was just – the Pelicans played them well, and like I said, until the stretch, and then they just have these lapses, and then it's over. So, and we're kind of seeing that now. Hey, they just are out here. I don't even know if they want to make the playoffs, to be honest with you, because they've had plenty of opportunities. They played the Spurs just a couple of days ago, or maybe a week ago, And that's the team they need to beat more than anybody. And they didn't even show up for that matchup. So they might be just trying to pack it in for all we.
They could. I mean, they want to get back to Cancun a little early, right? As Charles Barkley would say, 1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Yeah, hey, Bourbon Street's right around the corner, man. So
That's true.
They might be having fun over there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see here. Yeah, so we're at commercial right now, and we're ready to get this thing started back up. Yeah, so all right. So and I know the guys back at Score Trade, it's showing me that I have only 7 minutes left of airtime. So I don't know if there's something y'all can do to fix that on the back end, because I don't think 7 minutes is going to take us through the first quarter. So it looks like this is going to end if we don't get that fixed up. But regardless, man, I'm excited about the NBA playoffs coming up.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess the biggest thing with the NBA playoffs is just like we're finally going to see these guys play. You look at the East. I mean, you got 3 teams I believe have a legitimate chance to come out: Brooklyn, Philly, and Milwaukee. I mean, maybe you can argue there's another team in there, but I think those 3 are the prohibitive favorites to come out of the East. And the Nets basically told you they don't care about the 1 seed, and the 2 seed and the 3 seed would play before they meet in the conference finals. So, I just wonder if Brooklyn ends up as the 2 or even the 3, could they get jumped early on because of the fact they just didn't care about the regular season? They sat Kevin Durant out of that game against the Sixers when that was a nationally televised game that, we could have been playing here on Score Trade just because he played the day before against the lowly, Timberwolves. So right. I'm just excited to see these guys actually play.
Yeah, me too. I'm so sick and tired of these injury reports where you think everybody's going to play and then all of a sudden they're just gone. So hey, it looks like Zion Williams is getting in the mix early, but he got stuffed there by Draymond Green.
And we got Curry, of course, already with another bucket here. So he's already at 4 points here, Jared, with 9:15 to go, first quarter. So
yeah,
I felt good about dumping all my shares into Steph Curry before this one tipped off.
Yeah, and right now, Steph Curry is sitting at 79 cents now. So if you want Steph Curry, it's 79 cents a share with 4 points. He needs 4 more to cash. And I do think that he'll get there because they are seeming to get him involved in every opportunity. Is also Andrew Wiggins just hit a shot. So it also looks like his prop is he only needs 1 more point, Jake. 1 more point. So you can get Andrew Wiggins at 92 cents. I don't know if there's a lot of value there, but I can tell you where the value might be is if Andrew does not score another one and it's pulled, man, unload on the under there.
No, absolutely. I mean, you got to be quick on this too, because the score trade system is gonna quickly change the numbers on you if you don't act quick.
Oh, that's true. Just like the regular stock market, and that's what's beautiful about this app is it's got this crazy algorithm that's associated with it. And hey, it's hard to take advantage of such things like that, right? So you have to be able to try to predict the future just like you would in the stock market.
Oh, absolutely. You got to be locked in. You got to be ready to go. I mean, you just like you get a tip that something's about to happen on the stock market. You better be opening up your app and ready to make a play.
Yeah, and it's okay. You can have a little bit of insider trading here. If you Steph Curry and you'd be like, hey man, you going to go off in the first quarter? And he's like, yeah, I got you. Hey man, go ahead and get your score trade bet then, because we're not going to put you over to the SEC. So no one's calling you in.
That's right. In fact, don't tell the bosses at Score Trade, but we actually encourage insider trading on this program here.
That's true. The insider trading is a must at sometimes. All right. Well, I just got word from Score Trade saying they can't extend the time. So in about 4 minutes, you and I are probably going to wrap up here. But that's okay. It gives us more time to watch the game.
Definitely.
I'm currently 4th place on the leaderboard. I
got to check where I'm at. Got to see what I'm doing here. I put all my my eggs in the curry basket here. So let's
Oh
see.
man, you're beating me right now.
I'm in second. Yeah, there we go. I feel good about that.
Come on,
I probably
man.
should put in more, but that's all right.
All right, hey, you're trying to get those tokens. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
you must want that copy of Madden.
Yeah, I do actually. I haven't played Madden. I haven't owned a copy of Madden probably since like Madden like 2014 or 2015. So I'd love a copy of Madden.
What do you go into your boy's house and just take his and bring it back home?
Pretty much, yeah. That's basically been the strategy for a while.
It's been a viable strategy.
It's works. You can't change a winning formula.
All right, Curry's got 7 points, man. He only needs one more to cash, and you'll probably be sitting with that Madden copy before you know it. Because his prop is at 92 cents a share at this point. So even if you cashed out right now, if you cash out that Steph Curry prop and then he goes to the bench, man, you'll make money on both sides because you know that you're going to be able to make it on both ends. You can make it on the under and on the over. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess I got to start thinking about selling a little bit, right? I mean, it's.
Well, I don't know. I'd wait till I'd see him walk off the court.
Yeah, the second he hits the bench here, if he does, or maybe they just leave him in because he's red hot to start this game. 3 of 4 shooting and already hit one of 2 from 3. So we shall see.
I want to remind everybody that we're going to be on every night all the way through the NBA Finals, Jake. And I'm excited to be able to make that happen. And I'm excited to, call games here and hope that we can, get some big winners here on Score Trade. And also just excited to have you guys accumulate those tokens so you guys can complete, get some of these big prizes. Because every day there's going to be a new prize that's put into, the prize vault. And, the first one that gets the amount of tokens to go to cash in for that prize, hey, that prize is yours, man.
Absolutely. Get tokens, watch sports, have some fun. I mean, what more do you need? Score Trade, baby.
Yeah, it's literally the best thing possible.
Absolutely, Jared. Absolutely.